Hey there folks, welcome. Just here in the studio. Got a lot of sort of like tail end things I need to do. So we'll start over here. Just go over this slightly. So a lot of students' work from the last workshop, which we're just gonna. What I do with these is generally just put them back into one of your clay boxes. Just crush it up. What satisfaction! Yeah, these were cylinders that were practice cylinders, you know, as you all should be making, you know. If you can't throw yet properly, make 50 cylinders, 12 ounces, 5 inches tall. And you'll soon learn. You actually better do it, because if you can't do that, you're never going to really progress. So make that your number one goal. Learn how to throw cylinders. There's a lot in a cylinder, that more than what meets the eye. Okay, so there you have it. It's a box of clay that's now bone dry and ready to be recycled. And I'll put that in a 5-gallon bucket of water with a little bit of vinegar, and that will do the trick. Leave it in there for a week or so. Okay, so that's how I deal with students' work, my own work, or if I'm going to destroy it for whatever reason. So that's good, we got that out of the way. Yeah, what else? Yeah, I've got a few little cups over here I just want to glaze. This is a routine video, you know, I'm not sort of, there's no bells and whistles, or it's just me in the studio here, just very basic, which is what we all need, isn't it, really? So I'm stirring up this glaze. This is a glaze that I use on a lot of things. It's very stable at cone 10. I can use it for raw glazing, so no need to bisque. So I'm using a wooden paddle here just to get it moving. You want to keep your glaze on the move, you know, because it does settle out. Okay, right. Yeah, I've got these guys. Now, these are raw, you see. Now, they've been glazed on the inside once. So now I'm just going to glaze the outside, because when we do raw glazing, we do it in two parts. Inside and then the outside. Okay. So because it's already had some glaze on the inside, I just dampen the rim like that with a sponge so it doesn't take on excess, okay? And now just gonna dip it down into here like that. Just hold for a few seconds and then up. Let the excess drip off, and then put it on the wearboard there like that. Now this may need a little touch up when my finger is there afterwards. That's perfectly normal. You can dust off your pots before you glaze. You haven't got to go crazy about that. Just use a brush or something to flick over the surface, just to, or blow it off, you know. Okay, let's go down here again. So you notice I don't get any glaze on the base of the pot. Okay, that's important because it's a hassle to have to clean it off, especially when it's raw. Because you can't, if you sponge raw clay, it loses, you know, you start to wipe the clay away if you're not careful. Okay. I'm just dabbing the lip here to so it's not quite so absorbent, you know, because as I dip it in, I don't want it to take on too much thickness right there on the lip. Okay, down we go. Hold up. Yeah, we're getting ready for a workshop this weekend. We have 4 people coming. So just, you know, a small workshop. If you want to come on a workshop, you know, check out my workshop dates on my website. Okay, so that's that little job done. Right, what next? I'll tell you what's next is I've got to wash my hands. Because good, well thanks for joining us folks. It's Thursday evening. Yeah, in the last video you saw these guys that I made. I'm going to actually do some glazing on this workshop just to show people how to do raw glazing, because for a lot of people it seems like it's a mystery. Currently I have my kiln on again. To my astonishment and horror, I was just coming in the studio here, and of course the kiln right now is up to, I don't know, 1400 degrees, and I see here on my banding wheel, and I'm thinking, oh dear. So I forgot to put the cone in, so I guess that'll be then for the next firing. We're just going to have to do this firing without a cone. I'm just going to have to guess it. So that'll be fun and games. Yeah, that's my little decorating station there. As you see, you've seen me many times there. Actually, I've got some... Yeah, I've got numerous pots that are awaiting treatment, you know, of one kind or another, whether it's decorating or glazing or ash being blown with wood ash, you know, which I take out of my firebox. Yes, let's just take a wander. Hang on, where do I put my cup of tea? I'll grab my cup of tea and then we'll go over to the kiln area, kiln shed. Yeah, I've got to get all these tea bowls here already waiting to get into the kiln. Next firing, that will be. I was out here earlier. You can see... whoa! Didn't know it was going to do that. Suddenly burst into life. Yeah, it's a lovely evening. It's not cold. We're in this very warm, sunny patch of weather where we seem to be having endless wall-to-wall sunshine. Just to show you some of these little flowers I got down here. They're rather nice. I expect some of you are familiar with them. These little kind of lantern things, I always think they're rather nice. You can get some inspiration from things like that, you know, for decorations, can't you? Go out and look in nature if you need some. If you need some inspiration, maybe. Yeah. Alright, let's head over to the kiln. La la. Here we are. Yeah, I was doing a log, you know, I usually do that. Bit of graph paper, time, and then temperature down the left-hand column. And we just plot a graph. Okay, let's take a temperature reading. You can see some colours just coming there. Let's check on the pyro here. One 1467, okay. 1467. What's the time? It is 7:15. 7:15 and 1467. That's about there. So I plot the graph like that, you see. Pretty simple. Yep. We're sort of now in the phase of the firing where I sort of tend to go perhaps a little slower, trying to burn off organic matter between about 1300 and 1600 thereabouts. You can see all my cones here from previous firings. They're all out of this little small kiln. This is a kiln, you know, it's a 20-pot kiln, basically, depending on the size of the pot, but we usually average somewhere around about 20 pots. And I think I'm going to just turn it up a little bit here on the nozzle here. There we go. Just turned it up a touch. The reason I have this here is because when I was firing the kiln, when I started firing it, it was a little windy, you know, there was a bit of a breeze. So yeah, I just put that there too. These are a few pots that were surplus to the firing, so they'll go in the next firing. Actually, what I have to do is get this other kiln operative, because I've got to get a new chimney piece. You see the hole up there? Well, usually there's a pipe that comes down, you see, and it situates on top of the kiln here to take the kiln gases, the burnt kiln gases, out. So see, when I see a prop like that, it makes me think there's been an animal in here or something that has knocked that over, because I know I would not leave it like that. It's not the first time I've had animals in this kiln. One time it was completely blocked underneath was a mouse nest in right under the bottom shelf, in underneath, and the chimney, which goes under the bottom shelf and then comes up here, chimney was completely blocked. I had to stop the firing, and what I do is now I have a mirror. I put a mirror, hold a mirror down there, and I shine a light down here, and if I can see the light, then I'm usually confident I'm okay. So there it is, folks. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Just a little sample of my day. Just getting on with a bit of this and that, you know, as we do. So yeah, come on a workshop if you want to. If you need any pots, if you want any pots, I'm trying to encourage people, just write to me directly rather than going through Etsy and all that. I know people don't have time to do such things anymore in this crazy world we live in. Everything's got to be instant, but you know, I'm sorry, I'm going back. I'm slowing down. I'm going back to the old ways. I've decided I'm trying to get back to the last century, you know, and because things were better in the last century. So I'm going back to cash. I'm going back to personal contact with people as far as selling my pots is concerned, as much as I can. Get away from these awful PayPals and Etsy's and all that rest of that crap. I'm done with it, I tell you. Okay, Simon Leach here saying, keep practicing as ever. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.